Hello. Okay. So first I want to start off by saying that in class we first started off by creating different mini programs for different polygons, right? So basically what we did was this was the code that we used to create a square. This is the code that we used to create a regular triangle. This is the one that we used to create a regular pentagon. This one created a hexagon, and this one created an octagon. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is rather than creating a bunch of different mini programs, we can generalize this by creating a generic regular shape generator. So this generic regular shape generators. That's what I labeled the title. And you want to do that by using variables. So what I'm going to teach you guys is this thing called generalization. So the power of programming lies in the ability to not only automate tasks, but to also generalize them. And we can use abstraction in the form of variables to program a generic regular shape generator. Okay. So again, just as recap, what we did when we started off, right? So if I click this, if I were to just press the green flag, what this repeat does is just going to repeat these code segments 4 times. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just creates a square. Okay, so let's try to make it a little more user friendly. So let's try to generalize it a little bit more. Okay, so what we can do is let's try to look at that picture. So if we look at this picture here, right? So what I showed you in class, right? So a square has 4 sides, right? A triangle has 3 sides, a pentagon has 5 sides, a hexagon has 6 sides, and an octagon has 8 sides. So we're going to use this information to first try and figure out what we want to do with this. Okay. So what we can, if you kind of see a pattern here, we can start by creating this variable called sides. So like I said, we're going to use variables in order to generalize this a little bit more. So let's create a whole different program. I'm going to duplicate this. And instead I'm going to just get rid of this actually, and I'm just going to make it, I'm not sure what spaces that you guys used in class. Oops. I'm not sure which one you guys used. Let's use D, I guess. Maybe you guys didn't use D yet. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a variable. We're gonna create a variable. So make a variable, label it sides. Okay, I'm just gonna uncheck that box here. So we're gonna label this variable sides, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this program ask the user the number of sides of the polygon they want to create. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's say I were to just put this right here, right underneath, and then I put something like enter the number of sides of this polygon, right? Enter the number of sides of this polygon. So what we're doing is we're going to use this set variable. So if you guys remember how to set variables, I'm going to put this underneath here. So basically we're going to set the number of sides equal to whatever your answer is from this here. Just going to put that here. So set number of sides equal to whatever you put. Okay. Now let's go ahead and look at this a little bit more. So as you can see, what we did here was that, well, the square, the triangle, the pentagon, hexagon, they all used the same amount of steps. The octagon used a different amount of steps. So what if you wanted to make it more flexible for the user? Like, what if you wanted them to just put any number of steps? Right? So the number of steps, if you're wondering, as we went and created this, right? The number of steps basically represents the length of that polygon. So we can create a variable called length. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a variable, and that variable is called length. And length is basically just the number of steps, however it goes on the whatever directions it's going based off this. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put another question, and or not really a question, but I guess you put enter the length of each side. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're going to set the length equal to whatever you decide to put, whatever number you decide to put. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So what we can do is, so let's look at this here. So what I showed you earlier, right, is that these numbers up here, these all represents the sides of a square. This is the sides of a triangle. This is the sides of a pentagon, and so forth. So what that means is that we can go ahead and in this program, we're going to put our variable sides in here. So however amount of times, if you guys realize, the amount of times that you are repeating this program represents how many sides the polygon is going to be. Okay. Now, what we can do is, so move a certain amount of steps if we want to make it a little user-friendly, right? So what we can do is we can just put a length right here. Length here. Okay. So, and then, let's see. This part is actually, as you can see, the reason why we had the wait time here, was just so you guys could see all the little pen motions in action. So when we're creating a generic polygon generator, we actually don't need this. We can actually, sorry, this part. So we don't need the wait time. We can just take out the wait time entirely and just put this in here. Okay. Now this can be dragged anywhere. Yeah, this spread can be dragged anywhere. It could be -50 or comma 50. Let's say if you wanted to make maybe bigger shapes or something, maybe we'll make it at -100, comma 50. All right. So now this next part is where it gets interesting. Okay. So what you're gonna have to figure out is what goes in this blanket. So it's not going to be 90 degrees. So there's a little formula that is going to go in there. And I'm going to explain that really soon. So your goal basically is to figure out what equation would go in this blank. So let's think back to the shapes that I showed you here. Right? So basically we have a square. If we have a square, what we did was that we started off with this. We had it turn 90 degrees, and then 90 degrees, and then 90 degrees again, and then a final 90 degrees. So we turned 90 degrees 4 times. If we have a triangle, right, basically we have the triangle, we turned 120 degrees 3 times. For a pentagon, we would turn 72 degrees 5 times. Okay, so try to think about how many degrees we needed to close the polygon and how this relates to the number of sides. So think about, and so my biggest hint to you is 360 is going to be used somewhere, and a square has 4 sides. A triangle has 3 sides, right? A pentagon has 5 sides. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's my little hint to you. Okay. So what you're gonna try to figure out is basically you're gonna use one of these operators here, either the addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, and one of these operators is gonna go into here. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use one of the variables in also either sides or length in your equation. So that's my little hint to you for you to try and figure that out. Okay. So basically, when you are finished with this, please make sure to send this project to me when you're satisfied with your progress. And of course, you can remix your friend's projects if you wish. Like let's say your friend did a really good has a really good idea, and they say, okay, we're just gonna take that. I want you guys to all have at least one copy of this in Scratch, because we'll use that later if you're wondering. Okay, and don't forget to click this orange share button. If you don't click that orange share button, nobody can see your project. Okay, and that is basically it. Okay, good luck trying to figure out what equation goes in there. My hint to you, it's going to be one of these. You're going to have to use one of these four operators, and you're going to have to either use sides or length in your equation. Okay, bye.